Coach Cimoroni. Blood tie. Jared Gadson, what is going on, my dude?
Hanging in, Coach. I am in the midst of finals week.
Okay.
I've been studying all night for the past few nights. I have some reflection papers I have to do. I did some discussion posts, some response posts, and I graduate May 10th, 7 p.m. prime time after a 21-year journey. So I graduated high school from Iowa City High in 2003. Wow. Went to the University of Iowa for 2 years.
Right.
And studied mass communications, dealt with some demons, didn't know what I wanted to do. So I withdrew from school, worked menial jobs, nothing with a future. Moved to the Cedar Valley, which is where my father moved the family in 2004 so he could be the head coach at Waterloo East High School. Right. I moved up here in 2010 to be closer to them. Got into school at the University of Northern Iowa in the fall of 2021, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Okay. Well, were you there when Ivan hit the big one?
Man. So I was not there. That was actually I think it was my 30th birthday. It's 2015. I was born in 85.
Okay.
I can't do the math right now, but I believe it was my 30th birthday. Yeah. So I was with a friend, a really, really good friend, my buddy since I was 9 years old. He took me out and we were at the restaurant. I think it was Bennigan's in Des Moines. Okay. And I was out. Have you been there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was at
so we were watching the match
back in the 90s, I think, and I was at that Bennigan's.
Okay. Yep. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. So we were watching the match, and my stomach was in knots the entire time. Sure. I was like, "Come on, bro, you got to do something." Yeah. So he pulls out the throw, the gas, and he coined it. And I'm jumping up in the restaurant, yelling, making noise, and everybody's looking at me like, what is this guy's deal?
That boy's got some hips, man. Your brother's got some hips. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Absolutely.
How many years is he your junior?
7.
Okay, so.
Yeah, so I'm 39. He'll be 32 July 9th.
Okay. So did you torture him at all when you were growing up?
No. Man, I was out of the house. By the time he came along, I was out of the house. I was running with my friends. I didn't we're close. We're very close, but I didn't spend a whole lot of time, beating up on him or anything like that. He tells me to this day, he tells me that I'm the reason he's soft because I didn't pick on him.
Soft? Well, that's soft. God bless America.
Right. That's what I say.
He's a firepower, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and a lot of energy too, like you, man. I love that. So the Gadson's got a lot of energy. I love that. And so,
yes, sir.
But when you're growing up, right, 7 years at that point too, that's a big, big gap. 7 years right now, no big deal, right? I mean, pretty much going through a lot of the same things. But that, I had a brother who was 13 years younger than me. So I was a senior in high school. He was a kindergartner.
Wow.
He was almost like my son, he's like my little puppy dog. I love that. I love that kid, my baby brother.
Did he follow you around everywhere?
Yeah, he was like my toy. He was like my little toy. Yeah, I used to bring him around. It was so cute. I remember we used to run the track and he would try to keep up with those little legs and everything. And he just look at me. Oh my God, it's just a beautiful kid. And he was only born 2 days before me. So my 13th birthday was July 6th, 1970. He was born July 4th, 1970. So I had a birthday present of a little brother.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So, little brothers are great, right? But
yes, they are.
This is about you, my man. So, that journey is spectacular. Plus, right now, what you're doing for the Gable Museum, tell us all a little bit about what's going on there too.
Well, the Gable Museum, since I've been in the Cedar Valley, like I said, that was 2010. Right. I've always hung around there. Sure. So Kyle Klingman used to be the executive director. He was there when I got to the Cedar Valley. Yep. And he and my father forged a great relationship. My father would always take the Waterloo high school wrestlers.
What's your dad's name?
Willie Gadson.
Willie. All right. Okay.
Yes.
You love Willie.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Sure.
So my father would take his wrestlers to the Dan Gable Wrestling Hall of Fame Museum to work out when maybe the high school wasn't available.
Sure.
Maybe there was a snow day and they couldn't get to the high school. They would go to the Dan Gable Museum to work out. And so now Coach Jim Miller is the executive director, and he's a great family friend. He coached at Wartburg, I believe 10-time national champ, one of the only Wartburg. Yes, sir. One of the only.
Yeah, coached at John Carroll. They were always tough. So
okay.
I know that for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's a dynamo. So I asked him a few years ago if I could just be a secretary. So I would just hang around the museum because that's my tribe. Those are my people. And he welcomed me with open arms, just like Waterloo welcomed my family with open arms in 2004. And I've been there ever since. I pretty much am there just on a volunteer basis.
Okay.
I'm in school full time. So, I don't get to be there as much as I'd like.
Yeah.
But every time I have the opportunity, I would go down there, just talk to coach, listen to stories about my father, about his coaching, his time in coaching. So Rebecca Roper is, his right hand lady. I love her dearly. She's a great family friend. So I try to go to where I'm celebrated, not where I'm tolerated. You know what I mean? So
that's my favorite line by Kid Rock.
Yes.
that man said, "Go where you're celebrated, not tolerated."
Absolutely.
He wrote that toleration nonsense. So I love that. I love that. And so what is your degree in? What motivated you? What inspired you to get back? After it, and what are you getting your degree in?
I'm getting my degree in mass communication. My mother has her doctorate in journalism and mass communication from the
What's
University
your mother's name? Let's honor your mom.
Yes, Dr. Danita Gadson.
Beautiful.
She's a wonderful woman. She was raising 3 children, all under the age of, I think, 16. I was the eldest, so I think I was 15.
Yeah.
And I think my sister was 8, my younger sister, and my brother was 7.
Sure.
While my father, Willie Gadson, coached at Eastern Michigan University.
Okay.
Pursuing his dream of being a Division I head coach. She raised us 3 pretty much alone. He was 8 hours away. Yeah. They were still married, and she was pursuing her doctorate degree. So that just shows you, what type of woman she is. She, amazing woman. I wouldn't be where I am without her and her support, her love. So yeah, like you said, I definitely want to honor my mother. Yeah. She asked me while I was coming on the podcast. I was talking to her about 5 minutes ago. She's like, "Well, you're not a wrestler." I said, "I used to be."
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, the thing about this is our podcast is, while it's steeped in wrestling, it's really about that transformative moment. That's what Blood Time is. And then what do you do in the real world with it? So you are motivated. You are inspired. You're ambitious, like your parents, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Both ambitious parents, ambitious brother, and so that's really what this is about. That's why I wanted to bring these stories out, because I had so many of my former wrestlers do great things in the business world, in the civic world, in the medical world, in the military world, in the law enforcement world, in the governmental world, all those areas that they took the lessons from the wrestling room and they brought it. And think about how many people they have touched and you're going to touch or touching. And that's exponential. It just doesn't happen in a vacuum, right? It ripples through our entire, the time space continuum, if you will. So
yes, sir. Absolutely.
So you were inspired to get back your mass communications degree. What do you want to do with that? What are you doing with that? And what does that look like, in the near future for you?
Well, I can't I can't really remember. My father passed in 2013. 2013. I believe I told him I was going to go back to school. Okay. And my mother, both my parents, very big on education. Right. So I wanted to honor that. Yeah. My father had his master's from Iowa State, and my mother, like I said, got her master's from Iowa State and her doctorate from the University of Iowa. Okay. So that was why I wanted to go back to school. I wanted to show my 4 children that if you believe it, you can achieve it. Right. My eldest is 17. He's graduating high school this year. And then I have 3 princesses, 14, 10, and 7. Okay. So I wanted to show them, that education is important. It's necessary.
What's their names?
My son is Xavier. We call him Zay. Right. My eldest daughter is Darche. And then she's, like I said, 14. Yeah. Then there's Javea. She's 10. She's my twin. And then Journey, she's 7.
Love it. That's fantastic. Well, yes. Good luck to all of them. God bless on the
Thank you.
High school graduation, your college graduation. You and your son are graduating at the same time.
Is it at the same time? So as far as the future goes, I just started with vector marketing, selling Cutco knives, among other things. They have little plug, shameless plug. They have gardening equipment, hunting and fishing equipment, as well as the Cutco knives. So if you see me call you, pick up the phone because I want to do a demo. You don't have to buy anything.
Promise, I'll pick up.
All right.
I got 2 ponds in my backyard. So
okay.
My wife's son is right now fishing in the one pond. So
gotcha.
It's hysterical, but that's great. So that's what's happening with you. So with that inspiration, right? You're showing your children that there is always a path. There's always a light. It's just the intent and the commitment and the determination that needs to be imparted, right? And imbued in yourself, but also in what you're doing. Is there any professor or teacher there at the university that's really inspired you since you've been coming back to matriculation?
Man, really all of them. They've all welcomed me with open arms. They tell me that they appreciate having me in class because I bring life experience.
Sure.
I'm probably, around 18 to 20 years older than most of my peers. Yeah. So I bring that levity. I bring that life experience. I bring that knowledge and wisdom, sure. Because I've lived a little bit. So I filled out something today, for graduation that the university sent me an email. They said, who are the professors that, have made an impact in your life? And I listed pretty much every single professor that I've ever had at the University of Northern Iowa, because they have, impacted me in a positive way. They've helped me. They've understood me. They took the time to understand what it was I was going through, having 4 children, sure. And trying to raise them while going back to school. So, I mean, if I could name them all, I would, because they are a special bunch of people, and that's a really good university.
And, I want to get to some of that in the break. We got to take a break because we got to pay tribute to the people that keep us on.
Absolutely.
But I also want to talk a little bit about your family, and then also about what wrestling meant to you. But let's do that after the break. Is that cool?
Yes, sir.
And Jared, we're going to be right back with Jared Gadson after the break. This is Coach Cimoroni from Blood Tide. Love to all.
Infinite Search Solutions, recruitment and placement search services at its finest. Northeast Ohio's premier, easy, fast, and simple way to find the great and perfect candidate that you deserve. Matt Burns and his incredible team at Infinite Search Solutions are terrific. We are proud to have them as a sponsor. Reach out to Matt at 440-249-0485 or at their website, www.infinitesq.com. in-finite.com.
Rock your brand like never before. From videos that captivate to podcasts that engage, we bring the quality. Unforgettable stories start here with BVS Film Productions and Premier Podcast Productions. Contact us today for more information.
And we're back with Jared Gadson. This is Coach Cimoroni. So Jared, talk to me a little bit about how's Kyvan looking at this? Tell me a little bit about that dynamic. What's happening?
I talked to him this morning, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
I talked to him this morning, and I think he's a very proud. I call him the big little bro. I'm 5'6", and he's about 6'1". So I take after my father that way. My father was short and stocky. My Uncle Charlie Gadson was about 6'1", 6'2", and long and rangy. So Kyvan took after my Uncle Charlie, and I took after my father. But I call him the big little bro. I think he's proud of me. He's happy for me because he knows the work that I've put in, the time that I've put in, the heartaches, the pain, the joys, the ups and downs.
Yep. It's not that path is not easy.
Right.
And college is meant for that young mind, right?
Right.
And with the older mind, it's not a challenge, but there is more distractions, more responsibilities. And so it's not as easy to do what you're doing. And I know because I went back to do some work for my PhD after I got my master's in history. And I was doing it in my late 50s, early 60s. And it's tough. But I enjoyed it. I didn't finish. Maybe I'll go back to finish it because I got other things.
You should.
Yeah.
You should.
I got something really though that's focusing me. It's my food company, and that's woo. What a slugfest! And I'm a slugger.
Okay.
But
that's right.
I got to focus on that, and as well as this beautiful podcast and the ability to bring great stories like yours to the marketplace. So is there anybody of those professors that you just mentioned in the first segment that said something to you that really, like, that comment, go where you're celebrated, not tolerated, right? That really stuck to me when I heard that from Kid Rock. I'm like, yeah, I love that. But is there anything that one of those dudes or dudettes said to you that just really stuck in your mind? Is like, man, this is firing me up.
No, the mind is a leaky vessel, Coach. I don't know if anybody said any one thing, but they always poured life into me. I'll single out Dr. Nikki Harkin. When I first met her in 2022, she had her master's.
Okay.
Now she's a doctor. She's got her doctorate. I can't remember what it's in, but she told me, pursue your dreams. And she said she always wanted to be a doctor. And so she took courses over the summer and achieved her goal. Right. And so that motivated me, said, if she can do it, I can do it. So I wanted to finish my bachelor's degree because my father said, don't start something you can't finish. He always preached that.
Yeah. Don't be a quitter. I like that.
Yeah.
And then what about your children? Are there anything that they've said to you about, hey, Dad, man, I'm digging what you're doing, or, anything that's really just touched your heart? Or is it just a feeling?
I think it's just a feeling. I don't necessarily know that they've said anything about how proud they are of me, but I know that to be true.
Right.
I've brought them to campus, and they light up. They saw, last summer, they saw the, mascots, TC and TK, the cat and the kitten. So the University of Northern Iowa's mascots are the Panthers. We're the Panthers. And, they have interacted with them. We've gone to the basketball games, the ladies basketball games, and they interact with the Panther mascots, and they interact with my peers, and, they just love the university. So I'm hoping that maybe one day they can follow in my footsteps and be alumni like me.
That's fantastic. It's interesting. I just had I just saw a post that Lee Kemp did, and his Wrestled Away documentary just won best in the San Luis Obispo Film Festival. And I noticed that he put a picture of him standing with his son, Adam Kemp.
Mm.
It was really poignant to me to say, just be able to share that with family, with sons, whatever, and it's just, the trials and tribulations of life, right? We all go through it, but to be able to share it with your family.
Yes.
And to be, not so much an inspiration, but at least an example.
Yes.
That dad, took a circuitous route, maybe a little this or that, but did it.
Right.
And, the struggle is really what life's all about.
Right.
And the struggle is what makes us who we are.
It is. It's about the journey. It's about becoming who you're supposed to become to get to where you want to go.
And because there's nothing, you got to tear that muscle a little bit to make it bigger, right? You got to have a little tension. You got to have a little bit of trials and tribulations to make you who you are.
Right.
And I'm saying listen, I'm facing these every day. I mean, every day it comes at me. I'm like, what the heck? I didn't think about this. Yeah. And, this new business that I got involved with, and it's making me, it's making me aggravated. A little pissed off about it. But hey, I gotta be honest. It's what this whole podcast is about is, throwing your heart out there as well as your intellect. But, you figure it out. That's the beauty of our sport. So that's why I'm making this point now, bringing us back to wrestling. The beauty of our sport is great wrestlers, good wrestlers. We figure it out.
Absolutely.
What did the room teach you? Being in that room, what did that teach?
Perseverance, dedication, determination, stick-with-itness. My story with wrestling, I started wrestling, I think I was 5 or 6 in Naples, Florida. My father was the head wrestling coach at Lely High School. Sure. I wrestled all the way up. Say it again. Yeah. Wow. Wonderful place.
Yeah. So go ahead.
So I got to Iowa City, I think in either 91 or 93. I started first grade at Roosevelt High School on the west side of town. We moved to Iowa City East, this is the east side of town, I think it was, in 93. I went to Grantwood Elementary School, met Mrs. Adams, my third grade teacher. Her husband, Maury Adams, was like the sports psychologist for Coach Gable's team. I grew up in Coach Gable's wrestling room because my father was a volunteer assistant. So I go to high school and I wrestle varsity my freshman, sophomore, junior year. Junior year, I'm a captain.
Yeah.
And I have a terrible tournament. I can't remember what tournament it was, but have a terrible tournament. Come back the next day, have a terrible practice. So my father sees me and he, I guess to motivate me, he goes, "You're wrestling like dog doo-doo." And I just walk out the room. I'm saying, that's it. I'm done. So,
wow.
I quit that day, never to return. So I have a different story, but wrestling taught me a lot. And that was a major regret, to this day. And turns out they ended up winning state that year. So I could have been a state champ, but it wasn't,
wasn't it be
God's plan for me. Yeah. So I wanted to pursue football. Coach Ferentz, when they moved to Iowa City, his son Brian was a heavyweight, and he worked extensively with my father. And I was, like I said, a freshman wrestling on the varsity. I was the lightest at 125.
Okay.
So I was, I would say wrestling was my first love, but football was my passion. I was a running back and cornerback.
Okay.
Well, come senior year, I'm thinking I'm going to get at least a tryout, be a preferred walk-on at Iowa. And I don't even get a tryout, and I'm devastated. And I feel like I said, it wasn't God's plan for me. He had something greater for me to do. So I carried that chip on my shoulder. Like I said, I'm 5'6", but I have the swagger of somebody two times my size. So I've always had that little man complex. I think they call it the Napoleon complex, but I've always had that chip.
within my soaking wet. So,
but I really enjoy the sport. I really enjoyed every opportunity I got to watch my brother. My brother's my favorite athlete in the world, and then Muhammad Ali, and then LeBron.
You're right.
But
flow like
keeping
a
it in the family, man.
Sting like a bee, baby. Flow like a butterfly and sting like a bee.
Absolutely.
Pretty Ali.
Yes, the greatest. And if you remember, Kyvan, I was sending Kyvan in 2015. I was sending him quotes and videos of Muhammad Ali before nationals.
Wow!
And if you remember the ESPN interview he did, he said, "I'm a bad man," right before Quint Kesenich started interviewing him, and that was it was like a full circle moment, but because I think his favorite athlete is Muhammad Ali. So
yeah, well, I grew up with him, and he was something. He was flat, and he was a cultural icon too.
Yes, the people's champ.
He changed the culture. Him and the Beatles. Those two really, just changed the trajectory of an entire species. It just put up our minds to different ways of looking at things. But that said, so your life really is an inspiration, and your life really is a blood time moment. And in that moment of quit, you have regret, and then you do something with it, and now you're living a life that says no regrets. Let's go.
Right. Brilliant.
It's a different story. It's a different perspective, and it's a different outcome than most of the stories coming from the wrestling room. But wow, that's special. That's really special. And I
thank you, Coach.
Absolutely. So if you were to give advice to your 20-year-old self, what would it be, my man?
I would say, I think it was Jim Valvano who said, "Don't give up. Never give up. Never, ever give up."
Right.
Keep fighting, keep clawing, keep biting, keep struggling, keep striving.
Yeah.
Because, it just takes one thing, one day, one opportunity for everything to turn completely in the opposite direction, do a 180.
Right.
So I would say, don't take yourself too seriously. Okay. Trust God, and don't quit.
Okay. Well, those are some beautiful words, my man.
Thank you, Coach.
And I know that you're going to do some marvelous things in this world. You already have, but marvelous things in this world moving forward with this fantastic story that you blessed us with, the story of perseverance.
Yes, sir.
Longevity, perseverance, and final success.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not the only success. It's the final success for, college, but there's more to happen with your.
Oh yeah. When one door closes, another one opens. It's the next chapter. I actually, I'm talking to, Coach Carl Adams with, Adams Athletics. He told me that he wanted me to, possibly be a salesman for him. So we're in talks right now.
He's a great guy.
Oh yeah. I already know that. He's family.
Oh yeah.
He's family. So the Midwestern states I'd start off with, and we'll see where it goes. He sent me over a contract. I got to look over it. Actually, I think he sent it yesterday.
Okay.
But like I said, I've been handling business with finals. So, that is not my main focus at this time, but it will be soon enough because a brother needs a job, coach.
Go get it. And throw that hat in the air on the 10th.
Yes.
In the air. I love it.
Absolutely.
Jared Gadson, thank you for coming on this wonderful show. You've been magnificent. Give my love to your brother. Loved your kids. Loved your mother. Everybody. Love to the Gadson.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you very much.
All right, guys. This is Coach Cimoroni for Blood Time. We are all blood. Love to all. Peace.
I just love the mission at Edwin's. My friend Brandon Krastowski at Edwin's Leadership and Restaurant Institute brings a unique approach at giving formerly incarcerated adults a foundation in the hospitality industry. What a marvelous mission. Thank you, Brandon, for bringing these wonderful people back into productive society. Every human being, regardless of their past, has the right to a fair and equal future. Give them a try because their food is magnificent. Their service is first rate, and Brandon is a true Cleveland light. EdwinsRestaurant.org. We love you. We want to thank my good friend Kevin Goodman, the managing partner at Blue Bridge Networks, as our newest partner and sponsor. Please reach out to them for all of your managed IT services needs, cloud computing needs, data center services requirements, and all infrastructure solutions services. Kevin Goodman and Blue Bridge Networks. Seek them out at 1-866-990-2583. That's 1-866-990-2583 and at info@bbnllc.com.